All right. Well, hello, everybody. As Mimi noted, my name's Andrew Schulte. I work at ICF. We are contract support providers to EPA's Energy Star program. I myself, I've been supporting Energy Star for almost 18 years now. So I have a lot of experience with Portfolio Manager, both from the user side of things as well as the training side. And I am very excited to give you this overview of a really cool new functionality that EPA has made available in the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer. Joining me today will be two Energy Star team members from EPA, Cindy Vietmeier, who will be speaking in just a moment to give a little bit of a background as to the overarching goals that EPA had in developing this tool. And then Cindy's colleague, Matt Burgess, who works on the technical and analytical side of things for the EPA Energy Star program, is on the line as well and will be available to help answer questions during the Q&A. And last but not least, Andrew Schulte, myself, I will be taking us through the slide content today and also running the live demo of the Data Explorer tool. So just a quick overview of today's agenda. As noted, Cindy Vietmeier is going to give us a quick overview of the goals and EPA's development of this tool. I'll give a high-level overview with regard to the data set underlying the tool and the basic functionalities of the tool. Then we'll dive into a sort of a first-hand demo so you can see the tool in action. And finally, we'll go through just a few potential use cases to show how different tool users can make different selections to help meet their data needs. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Cindy Vietmeier from EPA, just to give us some high-level context and background regarding what went into the development of the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer. So Cindy, over to you.
Thanks, Andrew, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar today. As Andrew mentioned, I'm Cindy Vietmeier. I'm the team lead for the group who worked on the creation of the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer. And together with Matt Burgess, we'll be available after the presentation and demo to answer questions during the Q&A session. So to kick us off, I wanted to give an overarching view of what guided us during the development of the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer. First, over the years, EPA has received many requests from stakeholders to be able to access aggregated data from Portfolio Manager. And these requests came from stakeholders across the board, people with interest in data that would help develop policies and programs, in understanding building performance, or in researching a variety of topics related to energy use. So the Data Explorer is hopefully the tool that will meet the need of many of these requests. And the second main driver was that we wanted to offer a large, robust data set that also protected individual level property information. And to meet that goal, we spent a lot of time cleaning the data and making sure that the results didn't show anything that would reveal individual property level information. So these are the overarching goals we kept in mind during development, in addition to all the usability and functions we thought about that you're about to learn more about right now through the presentation and demo. So thanks again. I'm looking forward to hearing your questions later, and I'll turn it back over to you, Andrew.
Great. Thanks so much, Cindy. Really appreciate you being here today and all your leadership in bringing this tool from concept to reality. So let's take a few minutes just to situate everybody regarding a few of the finer details about the the data analysis and anonymization and aggregation that Cindy spoke to, as well as a high-level view of the core sort of functionality of the tool before we do a live demo. So what data are included when you use the Data Explorer? What is the underlying data source that is defining the results that you get back. So ultimately, there is a data set of more than 150,000 buildings that are feeding into the Data Explorer. And these buildings have data, complete calendar data for calendar years 2018 through calendar year 2021. These are limited to US buildings. So even though non-US and even international buildings can benchmark in Portfolio Manager, for the purposes of this tool, the data set was limited to US buildings, but it does cover the full range of property types that can be benchmarked in Portfolio Manager, including commercial, institutional, multifamily, and single-family properties. And it will return data for both scorable and non-scorable building types. Of course, if you tell the tool to give you data for the Energy Star scores for a non-scorable type, it won't return any results. But plenty of other metrics in this tool that can be gleaned even for property types that are not eligible for the Energy Star 1 to 100 score. It is EPA's expectation that in early 2024, the data set will be updated to include 2022 data. Moving forward, you should generally expect gaps of around 2 years between the current calendar year and the latest data year in the tool. This is because oftentimes the data set for a given calendar year is still in flux, as we roll into the next calendar year. So for example, in the first half of 2024, there are a large number of state and local benchmarking ordinances that require buildings to submit their energy data for calendar year 2023. And that is a significant driver for building owners across the country, especially those affected by these ordinances, to get their accurate data updated in Portfolio Manager. So that's why a year's data set really isn't going to be locked down until probably the middle of the following calendar year, and only then can the data cleaning and analysis needed to get those data into the Data Explorer. Only then can that happen. So that's why you will never see the current calendar year available as a data year in the Data Explorer. Just in terms of what is represented within Portfolio Manager, by EPA's estimation, nearly 25% of all U.S. commercial building space actively benchmarks in Portfolio Manager. Now, by the time we do the data cleaning to get to the building records that are included in the the Data Explorer, it's probably no longer 25% of the U.S. commercial building space. But the point here is that Portfolio Manager is a well-known, well-respected, and widely used tool, and therefore, the belief is that it represents a robust data set for those interested in understanding the building performance of commercial and multifamily buildings nationwide. Now, a few caveats. One thing that you will see in multiple locations is that EPA makes no claim of accuracy for the data included in the Data Explorer, and EPA has not determined and makes no claim that the data is fully representative of the US building stock, okay? And that's because we can't control who benchmarks in Portfolio Manager, right? This is not the set of buildings benchmarking in Portfolio Manager was not selected statistically, right? It was not selected to be robust. Basically, people benchmark in Portfolio Manager for a number of reasons, both voluntary and mandatory drivers. But there's nothing that can guarantee that the set of buildings benchmarking in Portfolio Manager is representative of the U.S. as a whole. So that's an important caveat that we're trying to make clear, in all of the documentation around this tool. It doesn't mean the data are not valuable. It just means that there's a limit to any statements that can be made about its overall representativeness. EPA conducted a very rigorous data cleaning process before, as a fundamental step in the development of this tool, and that included steps to remove property records with inaccurate data, duplicate records, properties that were clearly test or sample properties. And there's actually a slide at the very end of this slide deck that provides further details about the data cleansing methodology. There's also a technical reference guide, the link to which is provided at the end of this presentation. It's important to note that EPA does not automatically review and verify all data that go into Portfolio Manager. In fact, the only records that get direct review and verification by EPA are those buildings that are applying for Energy Star certification. As those of you who have gotten your building certified know, that is a pretty intense process of reviewing your building's records to ensure accuracy. But that level of review is not provided just for any building in Portfolio Manager. And we have less than 10,000 properties per year that are seeking Energy Star certification. So just bear that in mind. The buildings, with 150,000 buildings contributing to the data set, the majority of those buildings have not received rigorous, record level verification. Rather, they've gone through some basic filters to ensure that we believe their data represents real and high quality data for buildings. But again, there's no way at this volume to confirm that building by building. So a few caveats that are important to recognize. The other thing we would say is, though the data set is 150,000 buildings that underlie the Data Explorer, if you look at, if you use the same queries but look across different years, you're not necessarily going to be getting results based on the same group of properties every year. And that's simply because not every property benchmarks or updates their benchmarking in Portfolio Manager every year. So, none of these are meant to call into doubt or to make you worry about the importance or the value or the validity of this tool. I think we want to make all of these caveats clear, though, so that you have the proper context as you begin to use the tool, and especially as you begin to cite your findings in any studies you may be doing, or using it to inform any decisions that you may make. All right, and as Cindy noted, data anonymity is a big deal. Portfolio Manager, all users have an expectation of data privacy. Therefore, this tool does not enable users to drill down into specific building records. I want to make that clear. There's been a very extensive process to ensure that individual identifiable building data are not showing up in the tool. So to support this, as you will shortly see, when you run a query in the tool, the tool is not going to tell you exactly how many properties were included in that particular data set. Rather, it's going to give you the number of observations as a range, right? And furthermore, for any query that returns only 5 or fewer building records, no data will be displayed at all. So for a given query, a building group or subgroup must have 6 or more observations in order for aggregated results to display. And again, that is all part of ensuring that no individual building records can be re-identified. All right, so a few slides quickly to orient you on the tool, and then we are going to jump in for a demo. What options do you have available for conducting analyses using this tool? Well, in short, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select a primary metric for analysis. At this point in time, you can only generate results for one metric at a time. However, as you'll see, once you've set up your query, it is quite easy to flip back and forth between different metrics. So you can set up your query, set up your filters, get your results, and then see those results for different metrics. After you select your metric, you'll apply filters. You'll choose whether you want to see your results as a table or chart. And then should you desire this, you can download and export the results of the analysis that you're seeing on your screen in Excel spreadsheet format, XLS or CSV, as well as JSON formatting. This slide shows a very quick summary of the available metrics and filters for your queries. So in the left-hand column, you can see the metrics, the core metrics that the Data Explorer will return aggregated summary data for. And then, as I mentioned, you can only pick one of those at a time. On the right, in the right column, you have your filters, and you can apply a combination of multiple filters per query. So your output format, you've got two main categories. You've got tables or charts. The tabular format is formatted very similarly to an Excel pivot chart, including multiple levels of drill down, and all tables will allow you to display descriptive statistics. I believe the default settings will display 25th percentile, median, and 75th percentile, but you can also select mean, as well as 5th percentile and 95th percentile. And again, every time you get a result, the result will show the number of properties, number of property observations, and that will always be a range. As you'll see, there are different ways to organize the results, including a few drop-down filters to help you sort the return data. For charts, there are actually two display options. So you can choose to return the results of your query as a bar chart. And in that case, the bar chart will only return median values. You can also opt to return box and whisker plots, which will provide in a graphical fashion, the 5th, 25th, 75th, and 95th percentiles, as well as mean and median values. And also, once you've opted to get your data in chart format, there is a further drill down to allow you to specify how you want to format your y-axis. And again, this will all make sense in just a minute. So with that, I'd like to head into a quick demonstration of the tool. And actually, for these next two sections of the presentation, I'm just going to stay on my my web browser, since we'll talk about the tool generally, and then I will give a few examples of specific use cases and how you might make your query selections accordingly. All right, so I'm going to leave this up while I share my screen. The one thing I do want to let you know, and I'll point this out when we go to my screen live, there is an in-app tour, and I'll show you how to access that. So I'm largely going to follow the logic and sequencing of that in-app tour, but I feel it will be it'll be a better experience for you to see me, clicking through the options live rather than just showing you static screenshots. But I did want to confirm that in-app tour is available on demand and as needed. So with that, let me share my web browser. All right, so it appears that I am now sharing. So if there are any issues, please just type into the chat if you're not able to see this. Where I am right now is the landing page of the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer. So let me just remind you how to get there. So if you go to EnergyStar.gov, just the main Energy Star page, across the top, you'll come to commercial buildings. You can go ahead and click on that. And then within commercial buildings, you can either mouse over the commercial buildings link and then come on down to resources by topic, or you can look down the left-hand navigation bar and choose resources by topic. Once you expand that, you will see down here under D, Data Explorer, comma, Portfolio Manager. And when you choose that, it will take you right to the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer page. Again, if you forget that breadcrumb trail, you can always just enter it into the search bar, and it'll take you right here to the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer. So multiple ways to get to the same landing page. The landing page gives you some summary information about the Data Explorer, including all of what we've covered today. It provides a link to go to the Data Explorer itself. There is a link to a step-by-step user's guide, which is going to be very up. I see a request to zoom in. Let me just see if I can make that work. Sorry, my mouse is being a bit right. Let's see if that works. If this is still too small, please let me know.
It looks good.
Okay, thanks, Mimi. So again, I said there, as I noted, there's a link to the Data Explorer. There is a link to a step-by-step user's guide. There will be a YouTube-based video tutorial. It's being developed right now, so look out for this in the next few months. And then if you read down, if you scroll down to the About the Data section, you'll note that there's also a technical reference that describes the data cleaning methodology that went into this. So a lot of great material there, but let's go ahead and go into the Data Explorer. And I actually already have it pulled up here under another tab. So on your screen right now, you should see the interface for the Data Explorer. There are three main categories. On the left side, with a scroll bar, there are a number of user selections. This is where you select your primary metrics and all filters. The middle section here is going to be a point in time depiction of whatever you've asked for. So as you start making changes to your metrics and your filters, this middle section will update in real time. And then depending on whether you've selected tabular or chart outputs, there are additional drill down opportunities to slice and dice the display of the information. Right, so the left side is where you're putting in your details, your query requests. The middle is where the results are returned. And then on the right-hand side, it's a nice visual reference so you can see quickly and in one place any and all filters that you have applied for your search. And also this is where various help resources reside. So this graphic right here, the book with the A to Z, that opens the Portfolio Manager glossary. The question mark here opens the help tab, which includes, as I noted earlier, the in-app tour. So you'd click Let's Go to take the in-app tour. This page right here, learn more about the tool, takes you to the Portfolio Manager Data Explorer homepage. And then for more information about Portfolio Manager itself, there's a link to the Portfolio Manager site. Finally, on the right side of the page, you'll see that there is a download button. And when you click this, it will prompt you to select the output format. And again, that's Excel, CSV, or JSON. Once you make your selection, you click download. The thing to note is that whatever is showing on this screen, the middle section, when you click download, that's what is going to be output into a spreadsheet or JSON format. It's actually going to be two tabs. It's one tab with the query results, and then another tab just listing the filters that are applied. Right now, it is not possible to export any of the charts. So whether that's the bar graphs or the box and whisker plots. So if you are viewing a chart rather than a table when you click download, please be advised that what you're going to get in your download is simply the underlying data. So basically, it's the tabular data that are coming out through the background of the tool or through the download option. Just wanted to make that clear to anybody or to everybody, so there's no disappointment or questions down the line when you begin to use this. So I'm just going to go through this very quickly to point out the key functionality of the tool. As we said, along the left-hand column, this is where you make the selections that define the results that you see. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select a main output metric, right? So there are 4 output metrics that are that stem from energy use intensity, or EUI. You can request site EUI, source EUI, weather normalized site EUI, and weather normalized source EUI. And as you can see, as I toggle through those different buttons, the display in the middle refreshes. But again, all of these metrics are different flavors of EUI, which are all delivered in kBTU per square foot as their units of measure. However, you can also select other metrics. So if you don't want to look at EUI, you can have the tool return details in terms of Energy Star scores. So those are going to be whole numbers on from 1 to 100. Or you can also, as an output metric, select percent electricity. We know that this is increasingly interesting and important to folks, especially as conversations around electrification continue to grow in importance. So that is another output metric. You can see the percent electricity use by each property category. All right, so and as I noted before, once you select your filters, if you want to see results for all of these metrics, you can just one by one go in, set up your query, and then change the metric for which results are being returned. And each time you could go and you could download those results, and that would enable you to pull the data out of the tool, even though you can't query for multiple metrics at one time. All right, so after you've chosen your primary output metric, you will have the opportunity to select whether you want to view the details as a table or a chart. Right here, the default will be table, and the default selections will be the 25th percentile, median, and 75th percentile. And as you can see here, this is just the default search for all property types, showing 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th, and then the property count. And as noted here, you'll see that that is not a single number. The property count provided is a range. So for instance, if you want to understand the Energy Star, the range of Energy Star scores for bank branches across the country, this tool would tell you that based on a data set between 2,500 and 10,000 buildings, the median Energy Star score for the bank branch property type is a 56. The 75th percentile score is a 74, and the 25th percentile score is 36. And if you want to increase this to show the 5th percentile, mean, and 95th percentile, you can do that, and those columns get added to the graph. You can also see here that you have some display options. So for instance, right now we've just got this broken down by property type, but within property types, you have some subcategories. So if you wanted to break this down to say, sort first by property type and then by property type subcategory, you would see something like this, where it's grouped by primary property type, and then each of the subcategories that fall under that primary property type are returned. However, there's a lot more that you can do with this. For instance, you might want to display first by property type and then by gross floor area, right? So you can get a breakdown by different bins of building size. Or you could look at it by state. Or you could look at it by climate zone. Okay. A few things to note here. If you are interested in drilling down to the metropolitan area, the CBSA, note that that is only available as a primary sort option. So you cannot use it as a then by option. CBSA is only available in this first box, not this second box. All right, so we've been talking about tables. Let's also talk about charts. So when you select that you want your data displayed in a chart, you have an option for a bar chart. And as I noted before, the bar charts only show the median value for the filter for the categories you've selected. So it's not going to show you 25th percentile, 75th percentile. That's just not available for bar charts. If you want that information, you can use the box and whisker plots. For the charts, you'll see that you don't have a double drill down option. You only have the choice to select what is going to display on the y-axis. But as you can see here, all of the filters or all of the different categories that are available can be displayed here. And then you can also choose how to sort your y-axis, whether you want to do it on name or value, and whether you want it to sort ascending or descending. Okay, so this is the bar chart layout, and again, these bars only represent median values. If you want to see a little bit more detail in graphical form, you would go ahead and select box and whisker plots, and you'll get this format. And again, if you roll over any of the observations, it will show you the numerical values for each of the percentile categories. And again, for a box and whisker plot, you can drill down to decide what you want to be showing on the y-axis. So if you want to see it based on gross floor area rather than property type, you can do that. Okay, so those are the major data output capabilities. So let's just take a quick look at some of the filters. So right now there are 4 complete data years, 2018, 19, 20, and 21. By default, the tool will go to the most recent data year, which is 2021. Also, you can only select one data year at a time. You can't multi-select. Again, the way you could handle this is do your query for a given year, download the results, then move to the next year and download those results and so on and so forth. So even though you can't multi-select year, it should be pretty straightforward to get that information out. Next, you can go in here and you can filter based on property type. And there is a scroll bar here as well as a search option. So if I type in office, it will return all of the property type categories that have office in the name or for which there are subcategories that have office in the name. Okay. You can also simply go down through this list and expand these carets to see what, if any, property subcategories fall under the property category. So for instance, under education, if you drop down, you'll see that there's adult education, college and university, K-12 school, and other. And as well as preschool and vocational school. So you can simply choose to select the education bin, which will by default include all subcategories. Those will then be available to you. Sorry, this is only showing K through 12 school because I've got the metric as Energy Star scores. Let's go over here. All right, so if you break it down, if you've chosen all education property types, it's going to give you results for all education classified property types, as well as the breakout by property type subcategory. If you want to quickly clear, you'll note that that filter is shown on the right side here, property types, education. If you add any other property types, those get added to your list of filters. Okay, so you can always see in real time what filters you're using. And if that gets too messy and you just want to start over, you can just click clear selection. Similar things go for gross floor area. You can search, or you can just scroll down and select the different bins of gross floor area. There are three broad categories, 1,000 to 25,000 square feet, 25,000 to 500,000, and then 500,000 or larger. But as you expand these carrots, you can see that there are sub bins of floor area that are included under each main bin. You can also select the location that you want to search on, and you can search based on state, which is pretty straightforward. It's just enter in state or US territory name here, or scroll down. You can also select CBSA, or basically major and then minor metropolitan areas. So in this case, you might need to use the search box because there are a lot of options. But just looking in here, you can do a search for all rural areas, so areas that aren't designated as a CBSA. You can also look, you can see here for Alaska, you've got metro areas and micro areas. So you can select those by themselves, or you can drill down here to specify, more detailed micro and metro areas. So if you want to look based on, at a lower level than the state level, you can look at CBSAs. The filter here is going to change based on what selection you make. So if you select state, you're going to see the state filter. CBSA is the CBSA filter, and then climate zone, you'll be able to choose specific climate zones if you want to do your analysis at that level. You can also choose whether you want to return results for buildings that are ENERGY STAR certified, buildings that are not ENERGY STAR certified, or it doesn't matter, show all. The default is show all, but if you want to limit your observations to just those buildings that have been ENERGY STAR certified and therefore have gone through an extra level of EPA review, you could say yes. And then the data set would be limited just to those buildings that have earned ENERGY STAR certification. So that would be drawing from, rather than 100,000 buildings, this would be drawing from 2,500 to 10,000 observations. You can also search on year built, and there are different bins for vintage of buildings, and you can search based on the weekly operating hours. That is a filter that was noted to be valuable to users, so that has been included. So that's the full set of filters, and again, this is anything you pick there will be displayed here in the applied filters list. Very quickly, I'm going to clear out my selections and just talk through a few different use cases. So, all right, for example, let's imagine you're a researcher who wants to see the distribution of ENERGY STAR scores for K-12 schools across the country on a state-by-state basis. Well, okay, the first thing we do is we'd select ENERGY STAR scores as our output metric. Hang on, I'm gonna simplify this output. So we select ENERGY STAR scores, then we come down here. Let's see it as a table to start. Let's do it for data year 2021. And because I'm interested in K through 12 schools, in the property type drill down, I'm going to go in and I'm going to select education, but I'm actually going to drill down and select only the K through 12 school property subtype. And then let's see, I want to search across all states. So I'm going to set the location filter to state. Where'd that go? There it is. And then I'm going to come on over here to my displays, and you can see that it is displaying the Energy Star score for, let's see, for the K through 12 school property type subcategory. And I want to see it by state, so I can come down here to my then by option and select state. And now you can see the distribution of Energy Star scores for K through 12 schools across the country and for each individual state. You will note that for any observations where there are fewer than 5 buildings that meet your filters, no results are going to be displayed. And again, that is a safety mechanism to ensure that no individual buildings can be re-identified. So let's clear out those selections for a minute. All right, what happens if you're a building owner and you want to see how your property compares to other buildings with similar, of similar sizes and ages? All right, so why don't we we're going to look at Site EUI, and I want to, let's say I am a retail I am the owner of a retail portfolio. So I'm going to click the retail selection, and let's simplify this. Then I'm going to say, well, my properties are, most of my properties are between, or all of my properties are between 25,000 and 500,000 square feet. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to look across all properties, not just Energy Star certified. And all of my properties are 1980 or older. So I'm going to select these bins. And then what you'll see here is you can start doing different drill downs on your display metrics. Let's say I want to see how things break out by property type subcategory. Okay, well, here's how I can compare my buildings to other retail properties in Portfolio Manager, whether enclosed mall, lifestyle center, other retail properties, retail store, strip mall, vehicle dealership, or so on. If I wanted to see, performance levels for retail properties in different states, I could do that by drilling down on the state. I could also look at properties of different sizes, right? So I can look at, how many observations fall into each size category. So that's a great example for a building owner, especially a building owner of non-scorable buildings who want to get a sense of how other similar properties in Portfolio Manager are performing. The final example I'll give before we wrap this up and move on to Q&A is, all right, let's imagine that you are a policy maker, a state or local policy maker who wants to understand the energy performance of buildings in your state for every major property type. So we could select the metric of our choice. In this case, let's just keep it at Site EUI. We can scroll down, and we can search on, I think everything is already here. We would just need to, let's search our state. I'm in North Carolina, so why don't we, oh, sorry about that. Why don't we look at North Carolina? All right, so we've selected for North Carolina. So now we have the ability to drill down by property type. As you can see, if you select state, this is the only state selected is North Carolina. So that's just proof that the filters are working. You can drill down by property type into property type subcategory, or you can do further analysis by floor size or climate zone or year built. But again, the idea here is that the Data Explorer should be able to meet the needs of multiple different audiences with different research needs for different purposes. All right, so with that, I'm going to step away from sharing my screen, which should bring us back to the WebEx platform. I'm going to go in here and advance us to this final slide. So this is just a slide containing key links both to the Data Explorer itself as well as its landing page, the user guide, the technical reference guide, an existing FAQ on our help desk, and then of course a link for our help desk ask a question link. So if you have any questions about the Data Explorer, you can click that link. You can enter in your question, and in the subject line, just indicate Data Explorer, and that'll help your question get to the right person on the back end. So with that, we have a few minutes remaining for question and answer. Mimi, I know that you have been compiling the questions that have come in over the past 35 minutes or so. So I will take a break here. I think Cindy and Matt are going to come off mute, and Mimi, you will, I believe, be reading out the questions. And Cindy and Matt, if you need access to the screen, just let me know. Otherwise, if there's anything we need to demo, I can continue to drive it from my end.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Andrew. We're going to transition over to the Q&A. Let me just get all the questions pulled up and we'll get started here. Okay, so we have a few that have come in here. I'm going to start with one for Cindy, which Andrew touched on a little bit in the beginning.